Okay, we're now going to have a little detour to a different part of the world here in Thailand, and we're going to hear from Stephen Inscoe. I can't pronounce the name of the business, AURE, I think it might be. It's how the move to flexible occupation in commercial real estate, which I think is good, is changing the online model, and how you're thinking about approaching that opportunity. Stephen, over to you.
Thank you. Sorry, after you.
Thanks.
Okay. So, first of all, good morning, and thank you to Simon for the opportunity to present. This is a quick presentation of a concept, not an existing product. It's something we want to build. It's something that we're looking for investment for at the moment. And compared with Georg's presentation yesterday, there's 2 fewer German philosophers. I want to convince you today that commercial real estate search has a problem. The problem is speed, and the solution is AURE. So in terms of big numbers, there's over $32 trillion of commercial real estate globally. And this is a Savills number, so probably doesn't include the poor parts of town. This compares with around $1 trillion of transactions, or 3% turnover. And in residential markets, there's 5, 6, 7% turnover. So the question or the hypothesis is missing around $1 trillion of transactions because of the inefficiency of commercial real estate listing. So what does commercial real estate search look like? So if you're an occupier, search produces incomplete, unverified, and non-organic results. So if you're an owner, because of that, or a broker, it produces unqualified leads. In fact, globally, most commercial real estate availability for lease or sale is never listed online. And even in the case of North America, CoStar employs 1,900 researchers to keep the availability database going. LoopNet by itself as a model is not enough to do that job. There's a classic catch-22 here, which is if the occupiers don't look, the owners won't list. If they don't list, the occupiers won't look. And unlike residential search, both the owners, brokers side, and also the occupiers have budgets for search. Why is it important now? What is the demand for a solution? So between 2020 and 2023, the amount of flexible space within commercial real estate is estimated to increase from only 2.5 to 30%. Remember, that's over $10 trillion worth of commercial real estate. What it translates into is many more smaller and more frequent transactions in flexible space. So if the owners point 97.5% of supply at 70% of the demand for fixed contracts, the rents will go down and the vacancy go up, which is exactly what is happening right now in America. So the owners need a solution. The occupiers also need a solution. They have much better search on consumer platforms like social networks, media platforms, and messengers. So they need a solution. And commercial real estate itself needs a solution. Real estate, including commercial real estate, has the greatest environmental impact of any sector. Now, there's new building materials, there's new building management, energy systems, but these relate only to the small percentage of new builds within the total. Much better and bigger potential to reduce that environmental impact by making much better use of the existing stock. And that means making flexible occupation more efficient. So what is AURE? AURE is speed. What is the fastest way for people to communicate? Messenger. That's what we heard from Christoph this morning, the increasing importance of Messenger in people communicating. So AURE replaces slow database and filter search with fast chat, groups, channels, and programmable bots and applications, exactly the same infrastructure as Telegram. So the results now are determined by user interaction. They're not determined by pay priority. AURE isn't just for Thailand. AURE is international, and it's sector agnostic, because demand in commercial real estate now is international and sector agnostic. A few screens to give you an illustration of what search looks like on Messenger. The solution then, so owners and brokers now can post listings and occupiers find them much quicker than anywhere else. This free-to-list model means much more comprehensive and cleaner, hard-moderated databases, which in turn means that the occupiers have much more data to compare, including the price data, so they come with quicker decisions. They're not coming with questions. And better qualified leads means the owners and brokers are wasting a lot less time. So the brokers now, knowing the transaction is shorter, knowing that the risk is lower, can even compete for business on price. The revenue model. Of course, there will be advertising. Products, for example, like space launch for new spaces, or in email marketing, whatever. But the focus that we want to have, like a Shopify, is to have online payment as a form of booking, and this including relates to the commercial services through the platform. We want this to become really a reference payment system for commercial real estate. We will have priority subscriptions for access to specific groups, channels, and bots, perhaps for verified ID, and also for file management. If you ever look behind Telegram or WhatsApp, there are phenomenal file management tools which very few people use because it's a B2C platform. If you put it into a B2B environment, it becomes a light version of a data room to help transactions speed up. You can't speak about revenue models without targeting. This is an audience, unlike the residential audience, which is definable, listable, and targetable. Approximately 70% of value activity in this space is made up of only 50 million professionals, 2 million companies, 400,000 buildings in 90 economic capitals. So the dream that we have for AURE, and we have a lot of plans for AURE, but we want it, in as few words as possible, to become a reference infrastructure on top of which other prop tech companies can build their solutions in front of this international qualified audience. The team, so age on the one side, brains on the other one, has experience in real estate, digital media, research, artificial intelligence, community building, marketing, and sales. On last slide, I want to show you a second listing project that I'm in the process of developing. This is for D2C, digital native or e-commerce companies in Southeast Asia. The problem to solve is the ever-increasing cost of acquisition of sales, and I help manage e-commerce company as well. So I feel this very much. The structure here, again on a messenger, is to put the brands and the products in the center, like a Shopify, free infrastructure, free listings, but a mandatory payment system. The buyers on here see curated companies, curated products, and they like the payment system because it gives them a micro escrow account to buy products of companies that they perhaps haven't dealt with in the past. So where's the traffic? The traffic is the influencers and the content creators. And having a payment system allows the brands to make commission offers and to pay commissions to these people who can use this platform in the same way that restaurants use delivery services to keep their kitchens busy. And one of the big trends at the moment is for producers, not just selling products to the brands, but also wanting to develop their own D2C brands themselves. The banks are the banks. Now they have data to lend into e-commerce companies, which they've always found very difficult because obviously the movability of the products and the logistics can be performed by the ever-growing number of well-funded third-party logistics. I want you to look at this and imagine how that corresponds with a 21st century vision of commercial real estate. So the owners and the product at the center, the buyers are obviously the occupiers, the traffic, the influencers in D2C are obviously the brokers and other media in commercial real estate, the producers are the developers, either producing new space or converting space into flexible occupation. The banks are the banks. Logistics just means getting things done. So here are the lawyers and all the other professional services. So AURE is speed, and AURE is a 21st century solution to what is a very 21st century problem. Thank you very much.
Stephen, thanks for that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to summarize this in my mind. This is a platform to digitize the end-to-end transaction for the rental of commercial real estate.
Yep.
Right. And your objective is market by market to bring in the required, whether it's documents, any regulation or anything, whatever has to be done,
yep.
and to allow everything to be controlled end to end.
Yep.
So from the marketing to the lead generation to the document completion.
Yep.
And including the capturing of the payments and then the commission, etc.
Yep.
From that.
The commission is basically intended to get around the classic portal problem of having to buy traffic. The traffic exists in front of the brokers at the moment. It exists in front of other media like the news or whatever. So we're trying to take that traffic and motivate it onto the platform. Through the transaction will be obviously a step-by-step process. Right at the start, what we want to do is provide really an option, a much more efficient option, as the amount of flexible space really grows exponentially inside this sector, and an efficient solution, because traditionally the owners have been slow, the occupiers obviously have been very infrequent, and there hasn't been a solution that's efficient really in between for not just the offices that are flexible, but now also the warehouses and also retail.
Right. It's because the fundamental issue is going to be supply is going to go through the roof.
Yep,
because,
absolutely, yeah.
And I think this is the issue that I think Mario brought up yesterday, where he said, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, everyone wanted to invest in the best office building in town. Now no one wants to invest in it because the companies are gone or are not as much as before, and they've changed the way they work. Understand that. Understand the problem. The problem's going to get worse. There's going to need to be a clearing house for this. And you want to do that as the most efficient and effective way possible.
Yep.
And then people can build models on top of this platform.
Yep, almost like a game engine, a modular infrastructure on top of which other prop tech can be done. I think, very understandably, residential within this world has received an awful lot more love and attention over the years. I think the days or the opportunity just to build an international commercial real estate listing platform has gone. We need to leapfrog one generation, and I would sort of say, take the demand as it is and changing, and put it on to what looks like Telegram, a messenger infrastructure, because that's a much faster and much more efficient way of people being able to communicate.
Yeah, the way I sort of think about it is a lot of companies like CoStar, and we'll ask you the question about that in a second, are coming from a marketing-driven angle.
Yep.
Right. I'll get the listings. I'll build the audience around that. And I'll drive leads, and then that feeds into someone's old transaction or old clearing mechanism. What you're saying is, I'm going to start by getting the clearing mechanism right, and then and anyone can bolt onto the front of it.
Yeah. Well, the problem that you've got is the people who clear at the moment are obviously the brokers. The brokers are very unmotivated because the transaction size in flexible is much lower. The owners don't know how to deal with it because they've never had to deal with it before. The property managers don't know how to deal with it because they've traditionally just collected rents. So you've got this sort of big and growing problem that no one really knows how to handle and doesn't have a platform for. Clearinghouse is actually a very nice way of looking at it.
Why hasn't CoStar done this?
CoStar makes way too much money doing what it does, so it just does more of what it does. I mean, I think it's critical to understand, again, this is the problem of the availability. They are employing very expensively in North America 1,900 researchers just to maintain availability. Yeah. And they have, for example, been buying platforms outside Europe, but frankly spoken, show them very little love compared to the very obvious gold mine that they have in North America.
Got it. Do you know any examples of such conversational formats in marketplaces today?
In e-commerce, yes. Again, for the last few years, I've been really focused on e-commerce. There's a lot of things. I take a lot of inspiration out of China. I thought the presentation on China yesterday was crazy awesome. I think it's very, very interesting. And certainly, one of the biggest trends in e-commerce, and I think a lot of this stuff comes to us later, is the wish for consumers to have relationships with their brands, be able to talk to them. Even the most important occupiers struggle to actually have a meeting with the owner of a building, or even to find out what's available in the same building. I don't think, again, a lot of people, commercial real estate has targeted being nice to the owners, has targeted being nice to the brokers maybe. I think almost like a booking.com, we've got to really focus on the occupiers and show them a lot of love, and on top of which the owners will come, on top of which the brokers will come.
Okay. Can you please define what you mean by flexible?
Yeah, sure. Well, when I was in university in England, unbelievably, the standard lease was 25 years, which is incredible. And you had an ongoing liability for that lease, even if you subleased or assigned it. What I mean by flexible is just basically non-long term, so anything basically less than 12 months. And there's a lot of increasing flexible space in retail, not just the pop-up stuff, but flexible occupation. There's a lot of flexible now in warehouse, but especially now in North America, because obviously people like Pepsi have very, very seasonal requirements inside their very large warehouses. And everyone obviously knows about sort of co-working for the flexibility within offices.
Okay. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Okay,
I like
thank
what
you.
you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Going to do, hoping to do.
Well, thank you very much.
And good luck in,
Thank you.
in building this out.
Thank you.
Thank you.